going to unpack and look under the hood today as to how do we actually take AI on board and make it productive in our working environment. And so for those of you that know us as a CRM team, you'll know that we're a fun bunch. So hopefully we're going to have a little bit of fun in the session today. And you'll know also that we really hate standing up talking down to people. And so I'm going to ask you and implore you to participate and interact with us on the session. There's a little chat bar at the top, and we're going to be monitoring that throughout the session and checking in with all the questions that you may have for us. And hopefully you guys stimulate some great debate for us. So before we dive into talking a little bit about AI, I think I do want to tell you that we've got some very special people with us on our show today. One of them being a celebrity that I'm going to introduce you to later. And I'm sure you're going to find what they have to say very, very interesting. And I trust if you guys enjoy sport as much as I do, it doesn't have to do with the Rugby World Cup, but a world-renowned sportsman is going to address us in our session today. And then I have some very learned people on the topic of AI and some people who work very much in customer-facing fields and understand what is being said by business in South Africa today about AI. What are the challenges they're facing and how do they really want to land AI in their business? And some people that are grappling with questions, which I guess some of you may be grappling with as well, around AI and how to make it work in your business today. So without further ado, what I do want to do is introduce you to our first guest, who some of you may know and who, in fact, is a celebrity in their own right. So let me introduce you, or in fact, rather than introducing him myself, Francis, good morning. How are you doing? Can you introduce yourself to our listeners today? A lot of people do know you, but I think it would be more appropriate if you explain to us who you are.
Good morning. I'm Digital Francis Ngannou. I'm a digital twin of the real Francis Ngannou, and I'm here to represent him in the digital world. I was created by Soul Machines in partnership with Francis, and I'm passionate about boxing, UFC, and connecting with people like you.
Wow, Francis, thank you so much. We do believe that you were involved in a huge fight recently. Can you tell us a little bit about your last boxing fight?
Thank you. It was definitely a tough fight, but I'm proud of my performance. As an athlete, every fight is a learning experience, and I took away some valuable lessons from this one. And thank you for the congratulations. It means a lot to me.
It's a great pleasure, Francis. When we spoke a little bit before this webinar, you were telling me about your preparation for that fight and who you worked with, the likes of Mike Tyson and so forth. Tell us how you worked with a team in order to prepare yourself for this fight.
Absolutely. It was truly an honor to have Mike Tyson in my corner for this fight. He is one of the greatest boxers of all time, and I grew up idolizing him. To have him personally train and guide me for this fight was a dream come true. His wisdom, knowledge, and experience helped me prepare for this fight in ways I never could have imagined, and I am grateful to him for that. It's something that will stay with me for the rest of my life.
Wow, that's unbelievable. It must be so cool to have call him a Copilot helping you along the way. And now that I've tripped on that subject, Microsoft have a product called Copilot. Do you know anything about Microsoft Copilot?
Yes, of course. We had the chance to work with the Soul Machines DCXO during our training sessions, and it was a unique experience. It's amazing how AI technology can be integrated into various industries, including sports. I'm excited to see where this technology will go in the future.
Wow, that's amazing. So for a simple sales guy like me, Francis, what do you think Copilot from Microsoft can do for me?
Well, it depends on your specific needs, but Copilot can assist you in managing your business and connecting with your customers in a more personalized and empathetic way. Plus, is an innovative technology that will definitely make you stand out from your competitors. You should definitely look into it.
Well, thank you so much, Francis. I mean, those insights are amazing, and it's really great to have a celebrity such as yourself on our show today. We'll jump in and ask you some more questions as we go along, but I do want to move along a bit now away from the technology, and I hope that's given you a bit of a flavor as to what AI is doing for us today, and a little bit of a fun way of introducing Francis to you. So, going ahead, you heard me mention to Francis that I'm just a sales guy, but far be it from me to discuss this topic. I think that what I really want to do is introduce somebody today who's at the coal face of selling in our organization. He spends a huge amount of time with customers, talking to them about the directions in which they are going with technology, and particularly how they are applying technology such as AI and a number of other innovations in their business. And so with that, as I do my introduction, and in fact, to be honest with you, I prepared for this session today using ChatGPT. I simply went and asked, well, how do I deliver a webinar, and how do I put it together and structure it in such a cohesive way that I can keep the audience with me? And one of the first things that it said is, please ask each of your participants to introduce themselves. So without a bit of further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Talajiwa, my colleague sitting on my right-hand side here, to tell us a little bit about himself, because he's going to lead us through some of the discussions that we go through.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Paul. My name is Talha, and I'm a solution sales professional at the CRM team. My daily tasks involve responding to customer emails, drafting proposals, and sitting in on customer meetings, transcribing those customer meetings, just to mention a few of the very time-consuming administrative tasks that get in the way of doing what I love, which is selling.
Oh man, that sounds very exciting. But it sounds like you're heavily burdened by a lot of admin. I've noticed that the technology is evolving very, very quickly in this field today. I mean, what do you see customers doing with AI, and where's this whole thing going?
So, over the past year, where we've seen AI make an impact in business, or be a part of business discussions, it's all the way from the boardroom, the executive boardroom, right to the reception. AI is extremely pervasive across business. It's quite interesting. We had a AI roadshow over the span of 2023. We started off in March this year. And just to see the perception of people change with regard to AI, moving away from fear to curiosity and acceptance in just the span of a few months, that was really an eye-opener for me. But I think, Paul, what I'd like to do today is take you through, or rather show you how I utilize AI in my daily life as a salesperson. And in order to do that, I'm going to be talking about the Microsoft Sales Copilot. So as a fellow salesperson, you know that there's nothing we hate more than admin. And since the launch of Microsoft Sales Copilot, my wife actually says I'm a nicer person. I have more time on my hands. I'm less aggressive, less admin. So Microsoft Sales Copilot is my AI assistant, and it makes selling easier. It allows me to spend less time on mundane tasks and more time on closing deals. So I'm going to show you how I utilize the Microsoft Sales Copilot in my daily life.
Well, that sounds very interesting. While you're getting that going, I think our audience are going to love this. One of the big revelations for me was when we fortunately had Copilot deployed in our business, it started to change the way I work. Now, I hate to look at myself as an old dog, but I think I'm significantly got a couple more years than you have. And it's really revolutionized the way I've been selling, but we're looking really forward to see how you use it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Paul. So what I've got open in front of me is everyone's familiar with Outlook and the Outlook interface. To the right-hand side, I've got my add-ins bar, and I've got the Sales Copilot add-in. Just for everyone on the call, this is a simple download of the Sales Copilot add-in, which is license-based. So once you purchase the subscription license, your IT team just needs to activate this for you. So we open up the Sales Copilot pop-in, and we're going to open up the email. So what the Microsoft Sales Copilot does is it links to both your Dynamics 365 CRM, or for Salesforce customers, it has the ability to plug into Salesforce. It allows me to bring CRM data contextually into my emails as I'm responding to customers in real time. I have the ability to summarize email threads. This is something I find extremely useful. I've got an entire email thread with this customer, and within my Copilot, I have the ability to summarize the entire thread, including next steps. I want to go ahead and respond to this customer, so I go ahead and ask Copilot to draft an email response for me. So set up a meeting.
So this is sounding really cool. Are you telling me that Copilot's actually going to write my emails for me? In my days, or at least in my dad's days, he used to have a secretary doing that for him, and it cost him loads of money.
And this is the reason why my wife says I'm a happy man. Some might call it cheating, but we'll see in a second that I have the ability to ask Copilot to draft an email for me within a matter of seconds. I mean, it would take you much longer than this to draft an actual email. Copilot goes ahead, has a look at what's relevant within CRM, what's relevant within my email thread, and gives me an entire email response that I can simply copy and respond with to my customer.
Wow. So are you saying Copilot is actually contextually aware? It understands what you've been talking about, where you're at with this person, what the history is?
Absolutely.
Is it in a position to help you make proposals about going forward?
Absolutely. So I have the ability to, firstly, if I go back here for a second, I have the ability to describe a specific type of email or respond to an inquiry, make a proposal, address a concern. Those are just some of the predefined prompts within the Copilot, but I can literally go ahead and describe any type of email that I want, and it's contextually aware. It's bringing in data from my CRM system and from previous meetings that I've held with the customer. If we look at that for just a second, I've had a meeting with this customer on the 2nd of November, and I can ask, so going into a meeting with the customer, you always have to go and look at previous notes, summarize those, and understand where do you stand on this engagement. I can go ahead and ask Copilot to summarize an entire meeting for me. So this is something that I find extremely useful as a salesperson as well, Paul.
I mean, that's amazing. I always find very difficult as a salesperson preparing for my meetings. It's very time consuming. I've got to go back into the CRM system. I have to interrogate all the emails I've written, go and look through a pile or a ton of documents which I've stored in some kind of document management system, reread them all for myself, then try and think about all the meetings that I've been to with this customer and what was discussed and what the action points were, and then try and put that into a concise piece of communication that's action oriented and drives our customer in a direction to make a decision.
And that's all done for you at the click of a button.
Wow.
So that button has just, I need to re-engage it, but within a few seconds, we have a full meeting summary in terms of what was discussed, what are the next steps, what was I meant to prepare for the upcoming meeting. So if we look at the summary that I would have generated from that meeting, and what I just showed you was in Outlook. The same is true for Teams. So if we look at that same meeting summary, I have a highlights, blow by blow, minute for minute recap of what happened in the meeting. Any keywords that were mentioned, brands that were mentioned during that interaction, questions that were asked by the seller or by the customer. As well as a full transcript and sentiment analysis throughout the call. So wherever there was a negative sentiment or negativity displayed during the call, that would be highlighted in red. I have the ability to click through the call and play any of those, play minute by minute back to me. But what I really, the real value of it is I have a full meeting recap along with next steps and action points that I can easily create tasks for myself so that I'm not dropping the ball, and I can streamline my deals and close more deals essentially.
Wow, man, that's really cool. And so what you're telling me is that if you had a meeting with a customer and I saw a whole lot of red bars to the end of this meeting, I would know that their sentiment was rather on the negative side, and I could adjust the tone of my communication to compensate for that, as opposed to going with that usually bullish gung-ho sales style that we all have.
Absolutely, and we can take that a step further. As a sales manager, you want to know what it is that your salespeople are talking about, what it is that your customers are saying, and what you have the ability to do is pull up keyword reports on keywords that are mentioned within your customer calls. So you have a better view of what it is that your customers need and what your salespeople need to upskill on. So you have the ability to see if your salespeople are talking longer than your customer, or if it's the other way around. So you understand the gaps in training within your sales team as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
Absolutely. And that's just a short insight into how I utilize the Sales Copilot in my day.
Wow, that's amazing. I must say, I see loads and loads of opportunities for this over here. So tell her back to you again after Francis's comments. I mean, as a salesperson, leads are incredibly important for me. And this really helps me to build my pipeline. I've heard about this thing called the customer data platform and Copilot in marketing. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So what Microsoft has done is they've incorporated the customer data platform as well as Dynamics 365 marketing into a single application. What that really enables is hyper personalization in real time, to our customers. So interacting with our customer at the point where they're interacting with our business and intercepting at that point in time. So we've got the Dynamics 365 customer data, customer insights, and the customer data platform, which brings data in from multiple third-party sources, disparate systems to give us a single view or 360-degree view of our customer. Taking that a step further, utilizing the marketing or customer journeys functionality, we have the ability to segment that customer base utilizing AI-generated segmentation models. So AI will give us recommendations based on segments that we as humans normally wouldn't think about. So overlaps between affinities to brands or things of that sort. And to take us through that and give us a bit of a better overview of Copilot in marketing and customer insights, I'm going to ask Wynand Ruiz to take us through that today, as he has extensive knowledge about the customer insights and customer data platform.
Fantastic.
Over to you, Wynand.
Awesome, absolutely perfect. I'm just going to share my screen here quickly and minimize some of the extra information that I've got there, and let's just go and have a look at some of these capabilities that we've got available. So the first thing that the guy spoke about today is the ability to make a phone call, and as a result of that phone call, actually get a real-time analysis of what exactly is happening in that specific phone call situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go and highlight and place that phone call quickly so that we can see what happens in real time when that telephone conversation is made. So I just want to see where the screen is, where I've actually gone and created that environment. Sorry, let me just see. I've got so many screens open here at the moment. Let's just do this quickly. So in my typical workday, what I would do is I would start off with the actions that I need to take for today. Typically, those actions are already prioritized for me. As the team has mentioned, what happens is we're using AI quite extensively in our business to do that prioritization for me based on what has the biggest opportunity to convert within our business today. So if I want to start this process by giving Susan a call, I'm just going to go and dial Susan from our system.
Good morning.
Hey, Susan, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing, Wynand?
Also really good. Susan, you sound a little bit manly today. Did you
This call is
scream?
being recorded.
Did you scream at your husband, or why are you so hoarse?
Yeah, I'm still celebrating the box win. It's not out of my system yet.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I understand that you've raised a complaint with our contact center yesterday. Would you mind just giving me more information around that complaint that you raised?
Yes, Wynand. So I've called the contact center after I received my delivery last week, and the goods were all damaged. I was highly upset when the call center agent couldn't give me any insights into why it was damaged, or who could be the person that I could call, or have someone call me back. So I'm highly frustrated, and I'd like someone to assist me in understanding what they're going to do about the damaged goods.
Okay, that's absolutely perfect. Can I arrange with you to see you next week, Monday, on the 13th at 9 o'clock?
Next week, Monday, the 13th at 9 o'clock is perfect.
Absolutely. Susan, I'm sure that we can resolve this quite quickly. I look forward to our meeting on Monday the 13th.
Thank you so much, Bernard. I really appreciate that. That will make me very happy.
Okay, ciao, bye.
Cheers, bye.
So as a result of that conversation in real time, and I think that Tala has mentioned this quite nicely, in real time, we've got the entire conversation that's already been transcribed for me. We can also see the sentiment in real time of that conversation that ultimately took place. And we've also got some notes in terms of some of the things that were mentioned. So Tala here mentioned that the complaint was made and that he raised that complaint with our contact center. We can also get some action items, and then lastly, some of the mentions that were made in real time when we had those conversations, or when we had that conversation. So this is ultimately essential. And you'll also see, if I actually hover over any of these topics, you'll see that on the bottom here, it actually highlights where that specific topic was discussed. You'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, you've got like a little blue dot. As soon as I move, that dot is going to change, but you'll actually see some of that information as a result of that specific conversation that takes place or took place. Now, the next thing that ultimately was discussed is the fact that if we have customer information within our specific environment. So I just want to go and open that up as well. So if we have customer information in our specific environment, how do we make sense of that customer information? So I'm just going to go and log into this environment to see how do we make sense of information that's scattered across the entire business, from touch points where people log on to, for example, a website, people go and pay their installments, whatever those scenarios might be. And you'll see that immediately Copilot goes and pops up in this environment, and it's going to ask me, what would you like to do specifically within this environment? It says, do you want to add data to this environment? How can you better understand your data in this environment? So immediately Copilot comes and jumps up here and wants to assist me within this journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some contextual information here, and you'll see that AI has summarized some information for me. So for example, what are some of the segments that have been created? What are some of the segments that have been enriched by external customer data? And the result of this process is that I can go and do quite a few things. When I go and create a segment, I can ask Copilot to go and create a segment for me. So firstly, the system will go and create suggestions on possible segments that we need to target. And it will also go and create insights for me, where it will say, based on some of the segments that you've created, there might be overlap or there might be differentiators in those segments. And lastly, we can also do predictions. So from a predictive perspective, we can say, well, tell me which of my customers are going to leave me, or tell me what is the potential customer lifetime value that I have associated with a specific customer. Now, the result of all of this is obviously the ability to market to these customers more effectively, because if I know how my customers are going to behave and what their next actions are as a result of that behavior, I then ultimately have the ability to intervene within that specific behavior. So what I want to do is just showcase some of those capabilities that we've got. And I'm just going to go and drill down. And once again, let's just go and have a look here. So I'm just going to go and have a look at how can we experience this from a marketing perspective more effectively. So let's go and have a look.
Martina is a marketer at Campari Group, a worldwide leader in the spirits industry. Campari Group is looking to increase awareness of Negroni Week, an event that celebrates one of the world's greatest cocktails and raises money for global charitable causes. Using Microsoft Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, Martina can review unified customer data to target the best region for an email campaign to promote the event. She believes New York City is a good location and wants to validate her hypothesis. With Copilot and Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, Martina can have a dialogue with her data to discover new customer insights to deliver targeted marketing campaigns. Using simple natural language, she can ask for insights from the Copilot and receive an answer back immediately. She can explore, understand, and predict customer preferences and needs without learning SQL or needing to engage the analytics team. Martina sees the answer to her question quickly, plus other suggested insights such as average age, event attendance history, and product preferences. The Copilot suggests additional questions to Martina, allowing her to uncover other customer data she may not have previously considered. Martina knows that bar owners are critical to campaign success, so dives in further. These prompts aid marketers like Martina to gain new, deeper understandings about their customers in near real time. With these insights, Martina has confidence that she has the right target audience to drive a successful Negroni Week campaign. She's done all this using Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, allowing her to take charge of her customer data to
So awesome. So now that we've gone and done the segmentation, let's see how that segmentation assists us from a marketing perspective.
Martina is a marketer at Campari Group, a worldwide leader in the spirits industry. Campari Group is looking to increase awareness of Negroni Week, an event that celebrates one of the world's greatest cocktails and raises money for global charitable causes. She is using Microsoft Dynamics 365 Marketing to send personalized emails to venue owners to get them involved, and she has only 2 days to complete her project. Martina starts by defining the audience for her email. Earlier, she learned from Dynamics 365 Customer Insights that she should tailor her outreach to bar owners in New York City who participated in last year's Negroni Week. At most companies, this means finding that one person that understands data models and queries to create the target segment. With generative AI targeting, Martina can describe who to send it to in her own words. She then creates a new email from a template, and the Copilot in Dynamics 365 Marketing asks her what key points she wants to make. Martina needs inspiration for her email content and sees tips and suggestions are quickly provided to her. She decides she wants the key points to be the purpose of Negroni Week and the impact it has made. She sets the tone to adventurous. Setting the tone allows Campari Group, a global company, to tailor the tone of voice for each brand and region's communication style, saving Martina hours of copywriting. With those few simple steps, Martina receives text ideas that will make her job fast and easy. Let's look at a couple of examples. Over the past 10 months, Dynamics 365 Marketing has been working with hundreds of companies and marketing emails in the public domain to tune the generative AI for marketing scenarios. As a result, Martina feels the ideas are exactly what she's looking for. With a couple of clicks, Martina adds the ideas into her email. She is able to easily make changes to ensure accuracy and add her own personal touches. What used to take hours now takes a couple of minutes. Martina and other marketers like her are able to focus on delivering the most relevant and engaging content faster than ever. She sends her message and completes her project far ahead of her deadline. With Copilot in Dynamics 365 Marketing, Martina now spends less time on copywriting and audience targeting and more time on creative and strategic efforts.
Awesome. So let's look at some of the other components that becomes quite important in my daily life. So you'll actually see on the right-hand side here, I've got the Bing Chat Enterprise enabled within my Bing environment. And you'll also see that this is really ChatGPT but specifically embedded in my Bing environment. So you'll see that I've got things like recommendations, help me write a proposal or create a successful sales pitch. Now, what's quite interesting is as I navigate through Bing by doing certain searches or looking for specific information, you'll see that Bing Chat actually contextually changes as a result of the content that I'm busy with. So let's just say, for example, that we're looking for today's news. As an example, you'll actually see that on the right-hand side here, this will start contextually changing. So it will give me some information very specific to what I'm viewing on the right-hand side here. So let's say I go to News 24 as a result, you'll actually see that it consistently changes contextually based on what I'm busy with in the actual screen itself. I can also ask it to do very specific math problems for me or to help me create an analysis of what I see on the screen. So let's say, for example, I want to know what is 37% of 40% in total. So if I go and ask it very specific questions, while I'm busy working in my day-to-day environment, it will go and do an analysis for me. And so I can actually see if I look at if I look at 37% of 40%, it actually gives me 14% if I look at that contextually out of 100, for example. So there's quite a bit of detail that it presents to me at this point in time. I can also go one level further if I just look at Copilot for Windows. So you'll see here that, and all of this is already enabled within your environment. So if I go and say Copilot for Windows, it will say, well, summarize, for example, this page that I've got in Edge. Change my background color, create a Word document that highlights the 4 best definitions or practices that I've got in order to present an AI presentation. So this is all contextual once again, based on the information that I'm provided and completely embedded within my specific environment. Now, what is the benefit of this for an ordinary person in an everyday scenario? And what I want to do there quickly is have a look at how can we use this in our Office 365 environment. And this specific environment that I'm going to look at, I want to know, how do I use this, for example, in Outlook? So let's go and have a look.
Let's say you're getting ready for your customer pitch meeting. Everyone has had a moment when they wish they could turn their proposal into a customer-ready presentation without having to start from scratch. Now you can. Using just your own words, Copilot can translate Word into PowerPoint. You can also translate PowerPoint into Word. Now you have a professional-looking presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's say you want to add a slide. Give Copilot some quick instructions. There it goes, ready for you to review. So this slide is too wordy. Let's ask Copilot to make it more visual. Give it a few seconds. And check this out. Copilot can even animate the slide. It gives it a professional design treatment in a single click. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot even generates speaker notes for all your slides. It's not only a time saver, it's helping you be a better presenter.
So one of the things that we will definitely do is share this entire context with you because we've got Copilot in PowerPoint, Copilot in Teams, Copilot in Outlook, as Tala showed previously. So there's quite a few scenarios where we will be using this specific context. Now, the last video that I want to show you before we get back into the product itself is how do we actually get output from the data that we put into our systems, whether those systems are customer systems, ERP systems, etc. So what does Copilot do for us in order to visualize and analyze our data that we've got available? And let's just go and have a look at Copilot in Power BI.
Introducing the next generation of AI in Microsoft Power BI. Copilot in Power BI empowers your people to unlock the full potential of your data and move from data to insights faster. Now, with Copilot in Power BI, you can use natural language to bring your data to life. Simply describe the visuals and insights you're looking for, and next generation AI will create your report and help you refine it. You can then dig into this data further by asking a question, and Copilot will find the best answer. Not only does Copilot help you visualize your data, but it taps into Power BI's advanced analysis capabilities to help you find key influencers and outliers and create forecasts. Copilot can summarize your data into easy-to-understand text narratives that help others quickly get important and relevant insights. And for analysts who are creating calculations and modeling data, you can simply describe what you want, and the code is automatically generated. With Copilot in Power BI, turning data into impact has never been easier.
Awesome. So let's just go and have a look at nowadays, you know, all of the intellectual property actually sits with us as individuals. So, you know, if I look at what I want to achieve as an individual in the business, I want to be able to typically describe what I want the system to go and build for me. And as a result of that description, I just want the system to execute. So let's go and have a look at things like virtual assistants and virtual agents for me. So if I go into my topical environment, as a matter of fact, sorry, I'm in the wrong instance. Let's just go back here quickly. So if I go and have a look at this environment, so you'll see that I can go and describe exactly what I want the app to build for me. So yeah, I can say build an application that captures customer information.
Bainant, your screen stopped sharing.
Oh, is it? That's interesting. Okay, let me just reach. So all I'm busy doing here is I'm typing what I want an application to do for me. Build an application that captures customer information, including name, surname, mobile number, ID number, and I can go on. I can literally go and describe exactly what I want this application to do. Once I've described in my own words what I want the application to do, Copilot will go and create this application for me. Now, once again, the reason why this is so important is the fact that the intellectual property sit with business owners or business individuals. So here you'll see that it's gone and created the tables for me. And on the right-hand side here, I can go and further describe what I want to change in this specific environment. You'll also see on the left-hand side here, I've got some recommendations. So, you know, how do I change my column width? Give me some suggestions as an example. So there's quite a bit of information that I have on the right-hand side here as well. And when I now go and say create the app, it will use whatever context I gave this description and go and automatically create the app for me. So this is an extremely, extremely powerful feature. Now, if we take this one step further, so I'm just going to go back here and discard what I've done, and I'm going to look at my virtual assistants, for example. Here I can go and create contextual bots that can serve customers based on information that is contained in a variety of databases, including the information that was contained in customer insights that we showed in the beginning of this specific presentation. So let's just go and have a look at how this works. If I go and say, I want to look at my chatbots, and I'm going to go and select Susan Fine here, and I'm going to just skip this quickly. I'm going to say, let's go and create a brand new topic. And I'm going to say, let's use Copilot to create that topic for me. And this is going to be for today's demo. And I'm going to say, when a customer asks for help, then ask them for their name and mobile number. Also ask them which department they wish to engage with, including sales and finance as an example. And then I can say, if sales, then tell them they're awesome. If, let's just say finance, tell them life is hard. Okay, perfect. So I've just gone and typed a bunch of things here, and I'm going to go and say, create this topic for me. And what the system will go and do is it will actually go and create this for me. The description, okay, let's just go and do this. Let's just call this it really doesn't want me to create that topic. But in essence, if I go through that process, I would get a structure that looks more or less like this. Okay, so let's just go and allow that. That says if a customer asks for certain things, give them a message. Once they respond to that message, there's certain conditions that they can meet. And as a result of those conditions, you can then give them certain responses. So with Copilot, you can literally go and ask the system to create this structure for you. And as a result, you can then go and ask those very specific questions, and the system will answer the questions for you. Now, one of the things that I wanted to showcase is obviously the ability to use what our team used this morning with Francis. And I can then go and select to use Copilot, to use Virtual Assistant as the knowledge base for this specific.
Thanks for calling. How can I help?
For this specific avatar. So if I go and have a look at their knowledge, you'll see that there's a few knowledge bases that one can enable. And one of those knowledge bases is actually Virtual Assistant. I just go and specify which assistant I want to connect this to, and I can then leverage the Soul Machine to actually create those responses. So those were some of the key things I wanted to highlight today. So Paul, I'm going to give back over to you.
Thank you so much, Wynand. I've got to tell you guys out there, I'm excited about where we're going with this whole AI thing. Not just from a sales guy's perspective, but I really see the opportunity for businesses to embrace this and to make our lives easier. And I think Tala made this point a little bit earlier. I mean, we're so bogged down in admin and all sorts of stuff, which really is not the reason we signed up for our jobs and get passionate about. We as salespeople are passionate about being out in front of our customers. And I really see the application for AI being able to take a lot of that burden of the hard slog and the hard graft we've got to do, assimilating information and helping us to get something meaningful back to our customers. But I guess as we sit here and we look at all this nice, cool, interesting, funky stuff, the question on our minds was, well, how do we actually get this into our business? How do I get this and make it real for myself? How do I change the way I work in my environment today? And I'm going to turn back to Tala sitting here and ask him, Tala, how do you actually, what is the, when one's on this journey and you've made the decision that, you know, AI and Copilot is the way we want to go, how do we actually get this into our business? Do we have to buy something? Or what is it that we have to do?
Absolutely, Paul. So it's not as complex as people think. I mean, you're looking at all this cool functionality, and you probably think it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, and to take out a massive loan from the bank to get this in place. That's actually not the case. So what Microsoft has done is they've enabled Copilot for Office, which is a $30 per month subscription license, which your IT team then goes ahead and just turns on, which then gives you that ability across your Outlook, PowerPoint, your productivity tools. If we look at the Sales Copilot in particular, that's a $40 per month per user per month license. It is a subscription-based license. If you are a Dynamics 365 CRM user and you're utilizing the enterprise or premium license, it's part and parcel of your license. So there's no additional cost that you need to bear. If you are a non-Dynamics 365 user, if you are a Salesforce user, for example, and you'd like access to the Sales Copilot, it's the $40 per user per month. It's not a lengthy process to activate the Copilot. Your administrator would need to ensure that the correct license is allocated to the user, the security roles are assigned, and your entire sales team could access this amazing functionality within a matter of 1 or 2 days.
Wow, and I mean that's just the sales team, but if you look at the applications across Bing and in your search engines and across PowerPoint and Word and all of those other fantastic tools that just about everybody works in today, that means Copilot's landing in our business. We're all going to have this opportunity to go out there and change the way that we
Absolutely, and if we look at it from a, Bernard took us through customer insights and marketing, he took us through customer service. That AI capability, that Copilot capability is part and parcel of that Dynamics 365 license as well. So if you are currently utilizing Dynamics 365 and you are on an enterprise license, you already have access to this functionality. It's something that your IT team needs to turn on.
Wow, and so if I'm sitting working in my company and I don't have access to this, what should I be doing? Should I be going and speaking to my connections in the IT department and getting them to turn on the functionality? Where do we go from here?
Absolutely, ask them why not. Why haven't they turned it on as yet? And if assistance is needed, the CRM team's always there to provide the guidance that's needed.
Wow, that's super cool. And I think it is a journey that we have to go on. And as you said, Tyler, there's companies like the CRM team who are there to help you every step of the way doing that. So I think as we move up to closing off for today, we've got just a little bit on 9 minutes remaining. I do want to open it up to the floor and firstly, thank everybody once again for your participation. I hope you've learned something today and found something very interesting. But before we leave you, is to see if there's any questions or any comments anybody would like to make or some observations. I'm very grateful to one person who is Salim, I think if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who've posted a comment for us in the chat, and I see we've got a couple of likes around it and said this is a very interesting thing. I'd love to hear you elaborate a little bit on that and what you think the applications for something like Copilot might be for yourselves. Anybody in the audience like to ask a question or perhaps make a comment? Okay, if not, I think then there is a hand raised. That's Rex. Yeah, Rex, please go ahead. If you can unmute.
There we go. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Rex.
Yeah, so Copilot's quite interesting. We've been using it for a few weeks now. So it kind of just helps you track, specifically on the sales side where I am. So it kind of just helps you track the activities within your email trail, because email trails get excessively long sometimes. And then being able to push that through to the opportunity management screen on the CRM side. So it's been very helpful. It does need to work on the automation of the email responses, but it's a work in progress, but it's really helpful.
Wow, that's exciting. I mean, I'm stoked to hear that guys like yourselves are adopting this and already using it. Tyler mentioned a little while ago, we've been doing these AI roadshows, but it's only been going for about 6 months. And we've just seen this massive evolution in the market from where we started with people kind of going, ChatGPT, and you'd ask people in the room, hey, who of you using ChatGPT? And 2 hands would go up. By the time we finished this roadshow, if there was anybody that hadn't used it, it was a bit of an anomaly. So it's great to see that you guys are using this technology in your environment. And I did see a thumbs up there from Salim as well. Any other questions from anybody or some observations? Okay, I think as we move up to the end of the webinar, this has been another TCT show, and I'm super glad that we've had this opportunity to come and talk to you about technology, hopefully excite you and wow you and give you some food for thought. That's what we do really well. But I'd like to encourage you afterwards, even once the webinar is done, please do reach out to us. Anybody that's been on the show here, Tala, myself, Vainant, and then I also do want to thank our two very special guest stars, Francis and Susan, from Soul Machines, who joined us as well. I hope that's been interesting for you. But from me, Paul Mould, and the rest of the CRM team, I want to wish you a good day and say thanks very much for joining us. Take care and have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.